So in my last video, I took a trip down to the Oregon coast. For me, going down to the coast is what really sparked my interest in photography and content creation, such as videos like this. However, I did leave off the video saying that I wanted to do a overlanding trip. And for me, how I got into overlanding was going out into Eastern Washington. So I do want to announce that I did get a new rooftop tent, and so this is the perfect trip to test this new tent out along with some other gear that I got and I wanted to test out as well. But before we get to that, it's the new year, and every year I go out into downtown Seattle to watch the fireworks as well as take some photos over there. And so I feel like it'd be a waste for you guys not to see some of the footages that I got along with some photos. So here's a quick montage of just downtown Seattle and the fireworks show that they did. So don't mind the mess and everything, but still packing. It's gonna be New Year's, and then we're heading to downtown. I'm thinking Cary Park. You get views like this, so thinking Cary Park. Hopefully we can get some parking and all that stuff, because usually parking gets pretty tight during New Year's Day, especially around this time. So right now it's about 5 o'clock. Maybe around 8 o'clock is when it starts filling in. So trying to head out a little early, see what we can get. But yeah, I'll see you guys there. Okay, so back to Eastern Washington. So if you guys didn't know, Eastern Washington is a desert-like environment. It's actually almost the complete opposite of what Western Washington is like. So it's a lot more dry. It's a desert-like environment. As far as I can tell, it doesn't snow as much over there as in comparison to how it does like on the Snoqualmie and some spots of Western Washington, like the Olympics. I did mention in my last video while I was traveling down the Oregon coast that I've never seen environments like that, such as people going swimming, just chilling on the beach, sea stack rocks and stuff. I've never seen anything like that. This is very similar to that video, as in I've never seen anything like Eastern Washington. I literally felt like it was in somewhere in Utah or Arizona. Washington was nearly 60% like this, and so it was a fun time to explore, and this is where I wanted to start this New Year trip. Okay, so don't mind the mess and everything, but we're getting ready to go on this trip. I'll start from the very beginning. This is the office space, by the way. If you guys ever see my videos, this is where I sit. So we're packing, got some exciting news. Changed out the rooftop tent, so we'll show you guys that in a little bit. But what I normally do is take this box I got from IKEA. I just pack it with whatever I need. Usually it's just extra spare clothes and then other electronic stuff, which is what these are. But yeah, just charging up some of my gear to get ready to leave and go on this trip. There's a couple things I want to test out. One of them being this new diesel heater that I just got. Works really well. Test it out, fill this up with a bunch of diesel, let it run.
And I think during my test, I got upwards to a couple days of testing it, running it about an hour and a half every day. It was actually a lot longer than that. I think one of the days this diesel heater lasted about maybe 6 hours off one run. I did notice that if you have it on a medium setting or whatnot, it's gonna overheat, so it does shut off, and then you gotta reheat it back up, or not reheat it, but you gotta turn it back on. It's connected to the Jackery right here that I just recently charged. But yeah, just getting packed up and everything, and then I'll see you guys out there. So just real quick, how I like to do it is that I have this green bag I got from Cabela's. I throw a bunch of random stuff in here, like kind of like all the big stuff. So the toothbrush, I have moisturizer, deodorant, and all that stuff. And then in this bag is just the toiletry stuff. Don't really use it anymore, but I do want to find a use for it, so I throw all my electronic stuff in here. That's how I'm organizing everything. And for the kitchen, so when we're cooking out tonight, I just throw everything in this plastic bag, such as like oil, all the seasoning stuff. I have all the sauces here. So, but yeah, excited to do that, pack all this stuff, then we'll head out and see where we head up. So we'll probably make some like grilled sandwiches out there, and then yeah, we'll go from there. I'm not gonna be gone for very long. This is just a weekend trip, so this should be good until then. And then some random packaging. So I got like onions and garlic. All my sauce packages are in here. Water gallon. All right, so all my electronics, toiletry, couple shirts, rain jacket, and some socks are in there. So yeah, that's the bag. All right, I think we're good. One of the other things I want to do on this trip too is go buy coffee somewhere that's pretty local. So yeah.
All right, so the first stop is a place called Franklin Falls. It's a short hike. I think it comes out to be around 2 miles round trip. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I frequently chase waterfalls. I usually plan a lot of my hikes to include at least 1 or 2 waterfalls in that trip. So it's a nice little hike fairly close to downtown Seattle. If you ever needed to escape from the city, Franklin Falls is usually where people go. Usually means in the summer, when it gets pretty hot, people then go to Franklin Falls, so it can get busy and crowded. Usually this is the biggest worry about passing Snoqualmie Pass, is that a lot of people get stuck here and they can't drive through, but no, the roads are good. So this location, I'm gonna check out this place called Ancient Lakes. After Ancient Lakes, I'm gonna head up to, I think it's Sun Falls State Park, and then down to Palouse Falls. And so that's the whole itinerary, and then hopefully by then find some camp at night and then go on from there. So change of plans. Apparently the gate is locked due to vandalism, and so I guess the next stop here is go straight to, I believe it's called Sun Falls State Park. But yeah, let's check that place out. So the interesting thing about Dry Lake State Park is that the 400-foot high by 3.5-mile cliff, which is known as Dry Falls, was once a waterfall 4 times the size of present-day Niagara Falls. Just being here and just imagining that this whole place used to be a waterfall is pretty mind-blowing. It was created 13,000 years ago by a massive flood caused by the Ice Age, and that's kind of why the whole state park is known for what it is. So the main place I really wanted to check out is a place called Palouse Falls, and ultimately I didn't think it was worth the trip just because it was going to be 2 hours to get there. It was going to be a lot more than 2 hours. I think it was close to 3, but to get there and then come back, I think it was not worth the trip, I would say, unless I planned on going somewhere else that's relatively close into the area. Usually I would go to Spokane if I go to Palouse Falls, but I didn't have any plans on going to Spokane. I mean, I visited Palouse Falls many times before in the past, and honestly, if you guys ever get the chance or fairly close to the area, it's a place you should definitely check out. It's actually Washington State's official waterfall. And Palouse Falls is a 200-foot waterfall, and it is among the last active waterfalls in the Ice Age flood path. Once upon a time ago, you could actually hike down to the base of the waterfall, but I believe it is closed off now, and there were about when I was there, there was about 4 or 5 signs telling you not to hike down, but I think people do it anyways. Quite literally, people were dying to get down to the waterfall, so that's kind of why they closed it off officially. So I'm gonna head out to Moses Lake, and Moses Lake is kind of cool because they have a sand dunes there, and I'm getting pretty hungry, so I'm gonna head out to the dunes, make some food, and then tour around Moses Lake. I've actually never been through the entire city. I've only gone to the sand dunes, and so I'm kind of want to see what Moses Lake's got. But anyways, I'll see you guys there. One of the reasons why I like going to Moses Lake is because of the sand dunes that they have, and it's a kind of a fun way to test out any if you have new tires, let's say, you can go there, test it out, or you can just rally around. I mean, it's a pretty cool area. So this is my first time testing out these wild peaks right before I had the BF Goodrich KO2s. I also wanted to test out some of the modes that come with the Toyota 4Runner, such as crawl control, 8-track, rear diff locks, and all that stuff. And so this is just me just playing around in the sand. It's kind of what we do when we have vehicles like this. And so here, this is me just trying to crawl up with crawl control. This one right here is me with 8-track on. Here is me with the rear diff lock on. Also to note too, I did not air down my tires. This was just a spur of the moment thing. I just wanted to, since I was in the area, I was just trying to climb up some hills and stuff and then see how that went. But realistically, just trying to get myself stuck. And so don't mind me just playing around.
It's super sunny and everything outside, but it is freezing. I think when I got out of the car, it said it was 29 degrees outside, so. Drove around Moses Lake for a little bit, trying to find some other things to do in Moses Lake. I visited the Japanese garden, but the front doors are locked. I mean, it's kind of a running theme here. Everything looks like it's closed, but been wanting to grab coffee. Can't find a roastery anywhere near here, but I did find a really good coffee shop called Bella Vita, and it looks like it's just a shack. So I'm gonna go check that out, grab some coffee, and then I think we'll try to find something else to do. Got the diesel heater set up and everything up on the tent, and then yeah, just went from there, honestly. And I just hopped in and tried it out and ended up falling asleep. So
I didn't get that many footages when I arrived at night. I was just really excited to test the diesel heater and how well it's going to hold up. I was also really excited to test out the new rooftop tent, and I'll get to that part in a second. So testing out the new diesel heater, it works really, really well. I saw a lot of reviews on that kind of brand of diesel heater, but it did work out really well. I did have some issues where it was overheating just because I left it on all night. I also didn't know how much diesel that it would use. The test that I did at home, I think I left it on for a couple hours per day, and this is with 1 gallon of diesel, so a couple hours a day. I think that left me at like 3 or 4 days maybe before I depleted the whole gallon. And so I thought that would be fine. So going into this trip, I just only filled up half a gallon, seeing how I was gonna come back home the next couple of days. So I was wrong because I ended up leaving that on the whole night, and it did overheat a little bit, but I think that was expected. Speaking of new rooftop tent, I now have the 4x4 Colorado Nimbus. I'll explain to you a little later in the video why I chose the 4x4 Colorado and why I switched off of the iCamper BDV. So you guys probably might be wondering what happened to the BDV, and well, long story short, I sold it and I got a Colorado 4x4 Colorado. If you watch the video of me explaining my pros and cons about the BDV, you'll know why I went with the Colorado. It basically hits all the cons that the BDV had, and so yeah, no, excited to share with you guys the new rooftop tent. This is from, like I said earlier, 4x4 Colorado. Okay, so let's talk about the 4x4 Colorado Nimbus in comparison to somebody that's had the iCamper BDV for a good year and has actually used it for the whole year. So my biggest complaint, if you guys saw in the video where I talked about the pros and cons of the iCamper BDV, if it's worth buying, I'll just straight off say that I think the iCamper is worth buying. Now that I had time to really think about it after the video came out, BDV is, I think, the set standard of what you want in a rooftop tent. It's fairly lightweight, it's large enough that that can sleep two people comfortably, and you don't really lose the functionality of your roof because it does come with T-slotted channels. There's a lot of tie down points on the BDV. There's you can't really deny on how good the material is, such as the canvas, and I know I said the shell is aluminum, it's actually fiberglass. Thanks for the person that corrected me on that. And for me, there was nothing about that tent that really stood out in features. It's everything a rooftop tent should be. So if you were looking on buying a rooftop tent, I think like I said, I think the iCamper BDV is the set standard. You're either going to buy something that doesn't have the stuff like the BDV. That's usually where you would save some money, kind of cut costs there. Or you would buy something that has a lot more features into it, but then you are paying for that premium as well. And so that's where I kind of drew the line of, did I want something more, did I want something less? And come the 4x4 Colorado Nimbus. I first found the 4x4 Colorado when I went to Overland Expo in Redmond, Oregon. So the Overland Expo PNW. I walked by their booth and everything. I saw the tent. I asked a couple questions, and I think that's when I decided that I wanted to upgrade to the Nimbus. 4x4 Colorado is a fairly new company, and I felt like they took a lot of the feedback that everyone had about rooftop tents and just made a product just based off those feedbacks, and I think they're just gonna grow from there. So I like what they're doing. They sell other tents too. I think they have a clamshell tent, I forgot what it's called, and they have one of those box tents where it just goes straight up. Just based off how I found and what I liked about the Nimbus is that footbox is the main selling point. The built-in LED light strips. This one is a legit aluminum shell. It's double channeled, so just in case I wanted to mount some stuff to it, I have that option. It's a heavier tent and I feel it when driving. And then comfort as well. So the inside of the 4x4 Colorado, the stock mattress is a memory foam mattress, and it's the most comfortable rooftop tent mattress that I've ever slept on. And I've slept on, this is my third one now, and this is the most comfortable one. And I thought the iCamper was pretty comfortable. So those are the main reasons why I went with the 4x4 Colorado, is due to that. And I think for future references, wedge style tent, I think is going to move towards this kind of style of tents where you get the additional footbox. It's a better thought out design. I think people will start leaning towards this kind of design. I'm excited to test it a lot more. I do want to know how it stands out with wind and in environment with rain. It didn't rain as much last night, so I didn't really get to test out how well it does in rain, but it's a waterproof rain fly and material as well, so I would expect it to hold up very well. But yeah, those are just some first initial thoughts about the 4x4 Colorado. If you're definitely in the market for a rooftop tent, definitely check them out. I think they're here to stay, and I think they're gonna continue just to improve their products. All right, so that actually wraps up the entire video. I wish I had more footages of me doing overland things and camping stuff, but at the end of the day, what I really wanted to do was introduce the new 4x4 Colorado Nimbus along with the diesel heater and New Year's Day in Seattle. So stay tuned for the next video. I'm actually going to go to one of my favorite places, which is Vancouver, British Columbia. That video can go either one of two ways, which is me doing the stuff that I normally do, which is go photograph landscapes, camp in between, or it's just going to be me eating a bunch of food. Stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh, also, I did end up getting coffee. I didn't get coffee anywhere near Moses Lake or in Eastern Washington, which is where I wanted to go. I ended up, and it was actually in Bellevue. I went to Mercury, and I guess kind of not mad about it. I've always seen it. I can check it off the list now. Um, but yeah,